Welcome back, everyone. I just got back here from Juggernaut USA Off-Road Outfitters, and these guys are located in Denver here in Wheat Ridge area, and they are certainly one of my favorite Ram ProMaster outfitters. And if you want to check them out, let Matt know I sent you. If you buy anything from them, I have gotten a lot of stuff done with them and purchased a lot of their products, and we're going to go over some of that today. So right here I have LED lights, LED headlights, and these ones are direct fits, and they mount directly into the stock OEM Ram headlight housing. The ones I have in there currently, I also got from Matt, but that was before these were available, and you had to kind of retrofit them in the headlights. So now they have these, and they click right in place. So I'm going to get those installed today in this video. And also, I picked up something I'm excited to get installed as well, which is this front-mounted hitch rack that goes right in the bumper here. So I'm going to have to remove my bumper here, my headlights, and some of these side bumper panels, and make access to get this installed. Before I get into that, I thought I'd talk about some of the other products that Matt and Juggernaut USA make, and one of them is this rock guard here. So it's a two-piece steel rock guard, and I know it's going to be hard to see, but I'll try to show you the best way I can. This whole rock guard goes underneath the van here, all the way back there, and I had them install this for me when they installed my lift kit and my shocks. And they do provide a access hole back over there to access your drain plug for your oil pan, so you don't have to remove this when you do your oil changes. It's pretty sturdy and pretty nice, and I like it a lot. Additionally, about 3 months ago, they installed my 1.5 inch lift kit here on the front, and upgraded my shocks to these Bilstein shocks for the ProMaster. And lastly, at the same time, I had them do rear sumo springs. There's one there and one over there. And if you're not familiar with the sumo spring suspension, you can look that up. It's sumo, S-U-M-O springs. So that's another one of their products. They don't make that, but they do install them, and they do sell them. However, today we're going to be installing this front hitch rack. That way I can haul a bicycle on the front of the van, or a motorcycle, or a dirt bike, or a scooter, or electric bike, or whatever you want. They do make this product, and it appears to be solidly built and powder coated nicely. This goes all the way through. It's a 2-inch receiver hitch, and they also make the skid plate rock guard thing that I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and get the front of this van taken apart and try to get this installed here in the next couple hours. Obviously, I have the van on some ramps here to give me a little bit of working room. The first thing first here is to pop the hood open and remove the headlights. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so the first order of business here is to remove the headlamp and these two trim pieces on the top and the bottom. The top piece can come out by removing these two thumb screws. I'm going to put these back in once I get this off. It's held on by 2 clips in the back here, so you just want to carefully pry it out. We'll see where those clips are. These 2 here. So just be careful when you pry them out not to break anything. But that piece gets removed, and then I'm going to put the 2 thumb screws back where they belong, so I don't forget where they go and so I don't lose them. So now you have to remove the bottom trim piece, which is held on by 1 Phillips bolt. I'm going to remove this short Phillips bolt, and this piece is connected on the back side over here by 2 clips. So you want to be careful not to break anything as you pry those out. And just as I'm saying don't break anything, I kind of broke something. Not badly though. So anyways, 2 clips. The other clip, metal clip, is still on the side over there. It didn't come out with this one, but this will get pushed back into that when I put it back together. So that's how you get that piece off. And I'm going to put the Phillips bolt back in its home where it belongs. And now there are 3 10mm bolts to remove. There's one right directly in front of you. And this one is always a little bit of a bitch. There's another one back here. These are always kind of hard to get out. They're long, and they don't want to come out too easily with your fingers, so there we go. So that's one of them, one of the long ones. Back to try to work this guy out. Let's see if I'm lucky enough to get this one out yet. Nope, because the piece in the back is spinning. Oh, I got it. Another long one. Lastly, there's one more up top. This one's the easiest one to take out. All right, now that I have all 3 of the bolts removed, the headlight should kind of just come out with a little finessing. All right, and then you got to unplug the back. There's a little pretty easy little button you push and it pops off like that, and the headlight's removed. Set that over here. All right, that's kind of a bitch, but I'm gonna go ahead and remove the other side off camera, and I'll show you guys what's next. So the next order of business here is to remove this front grille, which is pretty easy. As you can see, the bottom's popped off. Those are 2 clips. And then there are some Torx bolts on the top. All right, so I believe it's a T30. Yes, it is. So you need a T30 Torx, and you need to remove these 4 Torx bolts. My nephew's here. I haven't seen him in 3 months. All right, one more Torx bolt to remove for the grill. Now the grill should just pop off like so. So now there's a bunch more Torx T30s, I believe, that need to be removed to get this whole front bumper off. All right, so I got the front piece of the skid plate off over here. Now that'll give me access to the four Torx on the bottom to get the rest of this front bumper off. This still isn't coming off. There we go. Okay. There's two Torx on the bottom you need to remove to get this off. Now I believe the next order of business here is to remove these 3 bolts on each side. That way we can pry this part of the bumper out. And of course, I believe there's going to be some on the bottom too. So let me take a look down there and see what we got. So under here, oh, okay, it just kind of popped off. There's one more down here. I'm gonna see how much room that gives me to play with. Okay, that gives me enough room to get in here and do what I need to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. Now this will pry out enough to get to the bolts you need to get to. I'm gonna turn the camera off and see what the next instructions are. I think it's to remove the oil cooler and hang it by something. All right, so the next step here is to remove 3 10mm bolts for the oil cooler right here. And I've already grabbed a piece of wire, so I can just hang this up so it doesn't drop on me. 3 10mm. There's one over on this side behind everything. You have to remove this oil cooler to remove the crash bar / bumper that's on the van, and then you're going to remount it to the new bumper. One removed. This is taking a little bit longer than I was hoping it would. I believe these are useless because there are studs on the new bumper. But next step is to remove this crash bar. So there's 2 bolts on the top and 2 on the bottom. All right, I got a deep socket here to get past this stud. Oh, that was pretty easy. I'm gonna leave the stud one on until the very last. I'm just gonna loosen it right now, and I'll remove everything else, and then I'll do the studs last. That way the bumper doesn't fall off while I'm taking the other ones out. That's pretty easy too. Easy. All right, so all 3 bolts are out. I'm gonna go ahead and unloosen the last bolt here on the driver's side that's on the stud. I should be able to take this crash bar off. All right, let's see if I can get this off here now. The crash bar's off. Let's get this out of the way. There you have it, folks. The front of my ProMaster is being ripped apart. So there's the crash bar I just took off. This piece here, this horseshoe piece, that needs to be removed from that and mounted to this. I think the instructions had me remove that first and get it mounted to this, but I'm gonna do it later. I'm gonna go ahead and read the next set of the instructions, take a break, drink some water, and then we're gonna go ahead and get that installed to that. All right, so I've done my research on the rest of this procedure, and I'm gonna try to get this done here before it gets dark out. I have an hour and a half or so before it starts getting dark. I'm gonna pick this up and mount it on the 2 studs that are sticking out. Then I have to use the 2 nuts that came on the van, put those on there finger tight for now, and we'll get the other bolts in and go from there. Here we go. This thing's kind of heavy. 1 stud on. Other stud on. I need to get this finger tight here so it doesn't fall off and break my leg. There's 1, and the other nut's right here. That one on this side. All right, golden. Now the bumper won't fall off and hurt me. Comes with this set of bolts and washers. I'm gonna dump them out on the ground right here by the, so I have 3 of these guys ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and get them in place. Actually, I'm only gonna do the top one right now because the bottom 2 require brackets to hold on the horseshoe looking thing over there. Besides that, I also have this bracket that is for my skid plate, so I need to get this on too. I need to get this on and the other bracket on, which should be fun. Not sure how well you'll be able to see this, but I think you'll get the idea. not sure exactly how to line this up perfectly. I'm just doing some looking here. This new hitch moves back and forth probably about a 1/4 inch or so, and I'm not sure exactly where center is. So I'm hoping that if I measure on this stock piece of plastic here, center, that'll help me determine where it needs to go. 29.5, so what is that? 14 3/4 should be the center. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark that. Looks pretty good where it's at, to be honest. So I'm just gonna go with it. I don't know. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and finish tightening up here. I think the heads are bigger than 15s, like 17s. I'm gonna go grab a 17. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up all the new bolts on here and then get my skid plate back on here and mounted. And then I'll show you guys what it looks like before I cut the hole for the bumper for the receiver hitch to go through. All right, guys, so I have the bumper bolted on both sides and tightened down, and I have the oil cooler on and tightened down to the studs that are super long for some reason. I don't know why they made them so long, but the oil cooler had to shift this way a good 1.5 inches, which made the lines bend a little bit. I'd like to see them bend. The other option is to try to get them to come out this way a little bit more just by slightly bending on the steel lines. I think that's what I'm going to do there. Sorry, the aluminum lines or whatever they are. Bend those out a little bit. Makes it a little bit better, so I'll be okay with that. I'm going to work on that a little bit before I put everything back together, but what needs to happen now is I need to cut 3-inch square out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this and cut it out and fit it to the van and see if it fits over the bumper. Just kind of have to go with it, I guess. I think I'm just going to cut these holes all the way out this way, and then I'm going to cut 3 inches vertically. All right, so starting over, guys, from the center of the hole, which is where I have my 5-inch marker at right now, I want to do 1.5 inches both directions. So 6.5 that way, 3.5 this way. That gives me 3 inches. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Center hole, 5, go to 6.5, and then from 3.5, 5. That should be the square I'm going to cut. I just need to get a straight edge here and mark my line across the top. And mark my line across the bottom. And that's the square I'm going to cut out. I'm going to use my DeWalt osculating saw and cut this out. But it's not coming out. It's because the other side has these stiffener plate things, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to cut these out now. All right. The hole is cut. Let's see if I did this right. Not bad. It's pretty good. Actually, take that back. It's not perfect. That's not bad, actually. That's the bumper locked in. All right, guys. So there it is. It's not perfect. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do in this case is, since the bumper is basically, the front bumper here is basically lined up where it's supposed to be for its mounting points, but obviously I didn't. See if I can get you directly in center here. That looks pretty good. I didn't cut the hole perfectly. What I can tell you is this being the center of the vehicle, it looks pretty darn close to the center of the hitch. So that's good. Now, if you go to this side, you can see a big gap here, probably about 1/2 inch, 3/4. Go to this side, much less. Same on the top, you see that little bit of a gap. On the bottom, it's quite a bit more. So I'm just going to use my marker here, and I'm going to kind of eyeball and draw a line on this side to make it equivalent to the other side. So I'm going to cut off some more off the top and off that side. So that's what I'm going to do next, is pull the bumper back off real quick, cut those lines out, and then there'll be an equal-ish gap around the whole thing. And that's okay with me because they do provide trim for it. So they provide this trim piece to make it look pretty after you get it cut out. And it looks like they provided enough to go all the way around. So I'm going to get this bumper off. I'm going to take the bumper off here, cut my hole out bigger, get that trim piece on, put the bumper back on, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, got my hole cut out bigger, and I got the trim piece put on. It actually looks pretty good with the trim piece. So I'm going to go ahead and get the bumper back on the vehicle, see what it looks like. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. So that's the way it looks, guys, from the side, from the other side. Not too bad. So I know you guys are dying to watch me put all these bolts back together and get everything back together. So I'm going to do that, and we'll cut to the next scene after that, and I'll show you guys what the fan looks like when it's all put back together. I'm not going to show you guys how I put the headlights in because pretty easy. If you've changed a headlight before, you know how to change a headlight. I'm going to get my headlights in. I'm going to get everything bolted back together, get my headlights in. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of daylight left, and kind of show you guys what the final product looks like. All right, everyone, it's the next day, and it got kind of dark out last night, so didn't really want to show you the end result of the hitch, but now that it's the next day and it's light out and it's a beautiful day out, let's go take a look at the hitch here, and I'll kind of show you what it looks like. So that's it. It could have been a little bit more centered or whatnot, but I think it turned out pretty good. The trim really makes it look decent, so I'm happy with that. It's pretty sturdy. The reason I decided to put a hitch on the front was to obviously carry more stuff. I am in the market for a e-bike, and I have one in mind, so I'm going to think about getting that soon, and we'll get that on the front. I do have a motorcycle rack already coming in the mail. That'll get mounted to the front, and that can carry bicycles, scooters, and whatnot, and my electric bike once I get it. So once I get that, I'll probably throw some pictures up on my Instagram and show you guys that, or I might do a video about the bike. We'll see. But that's how you install that hitch, and if you're interested in one, check the link below for Matt at Juggernaut USA and tell him I sent you, and get yourself a front hitch or one of their other products and get that installed on your ProMaster. Thanks for watching.